Hello, my name is Noodles and we are back on Raging Loop. The results are in. They voted on. I haven't had any input because obviously Haruaki's still locked in his dorm. I haven't had any input, so this is the results of the vote. I have a feeling, because of the way that games like these go, there will probably be Chiemi, I don't know why I said Chiemi, Chiemi who will be voted to die because it's just too standard for these types of games for the person who's looking after you to be the one who dies in at least your first run through. That's fine. The results are in. Old Wolfman 7 votes, Chiemi Serizawa 2 votes. Oh, maybe not, it's the old wolf guy. Anyone besides Teiba and Meiko-chan voted for the wolf guy. Shut up. Are you ready, sir?
We all decided this. Every one of us is equally guilty. Better get ready, old man. It's time to die. Do you understand?
I need time.
Huh?
Need to clean up.
You want to take care of your belongings? I believe we can allow that much. What if he's planning to escape? Haru-chan. Then I'll keep an eye on him.
You do that.
As soon as he returns, we will take him to Saranaga. Rikako-san, where is the rope? The special rope. The poison. You know, Cusco's poison. Right here. It was already evening. As I whiled away the time with some fruitless contemplation, I heard noises outside that brought me back to reality. Oh, there went gravity. Something, something, something. All of the rest of the lyrics to that rap song by Eminem that I can't remember the name of all of a sudden. People were shouting loudly. What's wrong? I opened the window and shouted. I was facing the cliff, so I couldn't shout to the settlement directly. They probably didn't hear me since I didn't get a response. What happened? So I shouted even louder. You say she stay right there. Stay right where the fuck you are. Huh? Was I about to get punched? What happened? I can't even repeat myself. It's dangerous right now. It was? What do you mean? I didn't get a reply this time. I only heard several voices clamoring. Then I heard someone hurry up to the dorm stairs. Who's there? I got no response again. What was happening here? Something was definitely close. This made me more tense. No, Haruaki-san. Wow, Chiemi yet again. What a twist. What's that supposed to mean? Sorry, but you should stay there right now. This might be really bad. Her voice was cut off by a scream. Though, it was more like an intense crying. It was Takumi-san's voice, no doubt about it. Chiemi left without saying another word. Huh? Hold on, open up. I fought the door, but it showed no signs of opening. I can help, damn it. Shit. Like hell I was going to stay out of the loop any longer. Turning around, I went to the open window and decided to try jumping out. I was on the second floor. It wasn't too high of a drop. It made my legs a little numb, but so what? Imagine if he did it. He like did the jump, jumped out the window, and then like just rolled to compensate from the height and fell off the cliff that way. That would be pretty standard. I jumped out without any hesitation. I properly bent my knee so I didn't hurt myself at all. Then I ran to the settlement, where I'd heard the voices from. I quickly understood the cause of Takumi-san's shouting. There were cries of despair. The reason was somewhere downhill along the way to the graveyard. There was a small grove of low trees with a carpet of leaf mould below. It would have been hard to see even if there was no mist. You could hear running water nearby. I couldn't see where it came from, but it was probably an irrigation channel of the paddy fields. There was a small crowd gathered. I peeked through a space between them. There were bodies. 2 of them. One was of an old man, the other was that of a child. What the fuck? Though their appearances were vastly different, each of them was in a similar state. What the fuckery? They lay on the ground with their hands over their stomachs, utterly still and covered in blood. These were the corpses of the old man who cried wolf and Chikamochi Kamoshida. What the fuck? Why the hell? What? Okay, I mean, this is a random death, I think, for Mochi to die, but okay. Nothing I can do about it now. Why? What happened?
Fuseshi, weren't you in the dorm?
I was until now.
Bullshit, you're the one who did this, aren't you?
No, I came because of the noise. Huh? No, I'm not. I just came out of the door. I even talked to Chiemi-chan. Yeah, it's not Haruaki-san, Takumi Ni-chan.
Then who did this?
Forget that. We need to treat...
There's no point. Don't touch them.
We might still make it.
They've lost all their blood. Their stomach's open and their guts are all over. What kind of treatment can bring them back? Huh? You know one? Go on then, tell me. Fuck's sake, why the hell did you goddamn come out noisy, goddamn Chrome?
It's always Chrome. There's never anything else that comes out loud.
You know one? Go on then, say it.
There was nothing I could say in response. There were 5 of us on the scene. Chiemi Serizawa, Takumi Muro, me, as well as Yasunaga Aribe, who was vomiting in a nearby bush. Don't blame him. And Rikaku Uematsu, who was watching the rains from a distance. Most were proactive, and I could see that they were here, but Rikaku Uematsu felt a bit out of place. But then I remembered that we were already pretty short-handed.
What happened? Who did this, damn it? God damn it. Who did this?
Don't know why my head's go. It's just making weird noises at this point. Fuck's sake. Look here. She pointed at the old guy's clothes. There were gatherings of fur all over his garment. A werewolf. If that was the culprit, then this was the work of the corruption. Was that what she was saying? So, did he try to kill... Mochi, and then because he tried to kill Mochi by breaking the rules, it meant that the corruption ended up killing him. Is that how that works? No. This was completely different to how the others had died. The fur proved little. Let me see the wound.
I told you not to touch it.
But this is completely different.
Quit acting like you know shit. You never find anything out.
But if we stop trying to look, we won't understand anything at all.
Quit the act, outsider.
Takumi Ni-chan, calm down. You bastard.
Shut up. Everything went to hell when he got here. If he didn't come, none of this.
I felt like he was about to grab me. I could clearly see the intense emotion whirling in his eyes. I thought I could get him to trust me, but now I was back to square one. Mochi, why? Why? Yasunaga Ribe calmed down a bit and faced the remains of his dear friend. His voice was shaking. The expression on the corpse was eerily pale and emotionless. Even a look of agony was absent. It almost looked like he was smiling. Did his face muscles simply go limp? This isn't the corruption.
How do you know?
I'll prove it if you let me pass. He glared at me with immense hatred before letting me through. Look away if you can't stomach this kind of thing. I mean, I'm used to cutting up dead bodies because, as we've already ascertained, I'm probably a mass murderer, but you know. I walk up to the old guy's corpse. He looked as distant as always, but the lack of blood flowing in his face simply made his appearance even more creepy. I avoided looking at it while I grabbed his back and rolled him onto it. With a wet sound, entrails spilled from the wound in his stomach. Delicious. Ah. How horrid. Don't force yourselves, people. Except you, Takumi-san, look. The stomach was clearly torn open by a blade. This isn't some supernatural punishment. It was caused by a person wielding a weapon. And since there's no weapon nearby, it means that someone intentionally removed it from the scene.
So Yasumizu is someone who's both armed and capable of an act like this.
Please give me the details of what happened during the feast. What led to this? With several people here to tell me, I ended up with a decent grasp on how today's feast went. Kionosuke, she had suggested they choose who to kill by vote. The wolf guy and Chiemi ended up with the same amount of votes, resulting in the tiebreaker vote. Most ended up voting for the wolf guy, sentencing him to death. He said he wanted to take care of some things, so he went and Chikamochi Kamoshida went out, while the rest stayed where they were. Were they really the only ones who left?
Yeah, the feast was still going on at that point. Them leaving was an exception.
You expected them to come back and resume the feast. What would you have done then? That isn't something we can tell an outsider. Alright, but anyway, they didn't come back. How long did you wait for them?
No more than an hour.
We started to worry when we went out to search. Found them in less than 10 minutes. So the culprit was one of those not present. Chiemi, Takumi-san, Yasunaga-kun, and Rikako Uematsu. The 5 in the hall, Nosatoshi, Kaori-san, Meiko, Haruaki-chan and Tei-san simply couldn't be responsible. So someone killed the two, changed into some clean clothing, and then came back to pretend to keep searching? That's impossible. Did you see each other while searching? No, we split up to cover more ground. Let's return to the hall. To the hall! We then went to the hall. Kiyonosuke's sheet kept watch and confirmed that no one besides the victims and the search party had left the building. That limited the potential murderers to the search party and I. I asserted that I was still in the room when it all happened, and they believed me for now. Though Takumi-san continued to suspect that I used some sort of trick to escape and commit the murders. Well, that was fair considering everyone else was with them, but I knew I wasn't the culprit. I left only one possibility. They died right after they left the hall, then someone removed the weapon. And you're still the only one who could have done it. I'm telling you, I heard him in his room. I'll say as much as I have to. I'm innocent, and since I am, something else has to be responsible for their deaths. I see you're avoiding using the word murder. You noticed? I am. As it stands, this could be suicide, death by illness or poison, followed by desecration of the corpses and removal of the weapon. How would doing something like that benefit us? If you ask me, things become much simpler if we assume you and Serizawa are partners in crime, don't you think? I don't know. But doing that wouldn't benefit me either. Really? Tell me. Is there any proof you didn't know each other before this? Huh? We didn't, obviously. But what does that have to do with anything? The people here believe an eerie legend. You could have come here to take advantage of that and pretend to be monsters to murder them for your enjoyment. Please stop. There are some lines you shouldn't cross. Stop this, all of you. Yamawaki-san walked out of the hall. I could see Harumakishima, Meiko, and Kaori Aribe behind her. That made a total of 10 survivors, 9 if you excluded me, who hadn't participated in the feast.
Whoever killed Chikamoto and the Elder, they went against the laws. Shinai-sama will subject them to the corruption.
She put her hands together in prayer and faced the peak of the mountain of Mount Shinai, at the opposite end of Saranaga. Strangely enough, that was enough for everyone to fall silent. Rikako Umetsu joined in and Meiko copied her. This was the settlement's way of solving things. They gave up on discourse and just left it in the hands of a higher power. Bar-chan, what do we do now?
One has already spilled blood for the day. The Elder has died. Let's end the feast of the day and clean up.
Alright, Yasunaga, help out. I can... You just sit still. The situation was only getting worse. As you can tell by the fact that people are dying left and right. Soon after that, it was time to shelter, so everyone retreated to their houses. Takumi-san had entered my room and boarded my window completely shut. If you're not the culprit, something's going to happen, even if you're locked in. His words were harsh, but there was a hint of composure. He might have actually believed that I wasn't the one who did it, or maybe he found peace in the idea that the mountain would punish the culprit. Or perhaps he just believed that it was the work of something supernatural. Whatever the case, he was dwelling less and less on the matter. Was the wolf guy a wolf? I had no idea whether that was plausible. Assuming he wasn't, 2 of the remaining 9 were wolves. With Kiyonosuke being a confirmed human, Takumi-san being the snake, and Meiko being a monkey, there were a whole 6 suspects. Thanks to my advice, Chiemi suggested the monkeys reveal themselves, and they turned out to be Chikamochi, Kamishida, and Meiko. Though, Mochi just died. That was a heavy blow. Him being confirmed non-wolf was reason, but more than that, he was one of the few people here who actually talked to me without restraint. He was somewhat of an oddity compared to the rest of the people here, but I did find him to be a fun guy. And not a mushroom. I like to get back at whatever injustice had stolen his life. Clearing my head, I resumed thinking. Since she was acting suspicious today, Takumi-san would investigate Haru-chan. Tomorrow we'd have only 5 suspects, and that'd give them a decent chance of picking out the 2 wolves. It seems to me like it wouldn't be that hard to find the murderers, who would surely be shaken by what they had done. And then the outed wolf, not wanting to die alone, would reveal their partner. That was the most optimistic way to look at it. From a pessimistic standpoint, though, the situation was absolutely terrible. 4 people had died today. In a normal feast of the Yomi Purge, it had to be 1 per day, 1 per night. That was this was double that. If things hadn't gone so well in the forest, even Harumakishima might have died. Not to mention the dreadful state Kaori Aribe was in. I was told their relationship had gotten worse. Kaori-san was in no state to prepare food, so it was likely that no one had eaten anything today. The hunger would only worsen everyone's morale. It was best for them to prioritise getting a proper meal tomorrow. Even so, there was no guarantee we wouldn't get any more irregular deaths. For example, someone at their wits' end could attack a wolf suspect despite the threat of the corruption. If they end up losing more humans while the number of wolves stayed the same, the humans would be done for either tomorrow or the day after. Escape. I've been entertaining the idea ever since lunch. The path was ruined and I'd have to travel through an undeveloped grove, but I hadn't run into anything supernatural there while searching for Haru-chan. Maybe I could get out as long as I watched where I was going? I also had Saranaga as another option. Everyone had hated it, but that just made it less likely for me to get caught. Going down a misty, rocky cliff was dangerous, but at least it was a one-way road. I just had to be careful I didn't get taken by the currents, and it was definitely better than just staying here and dying. However, perhaps even suggesting that was dangerous, especially considering I've already tried it. According to Rikako Umetsu, the effects of the corruption were limited to the one who broke the laws, so you could escape them by killing yourself. However, if someone said they wanted to escape the village, the punishment would likely go to both the one attempting it as well as the ones who allowed it. The escape would surely become a hell of an experience then, so there's no fucking point. However, there was an optimistic view of the situation. Something was actually here. Something abnormal was here in Yasumizu, killing and menacing its people with using abnormal methods. At the very least, Yoshitsugu Uribe, who went to face it, suffered a horrible death. The superstitions weren't baseless, and it was best to look at the situation from that angle. My plan of escape contradicted that. But then, how could I prepare for whatever was to come? The best I could think of was trying to familiarise myself with Fujiyoshi's superstitions. Perhaps I could find some sort of weak point, or hint that could lead me to their identity. 5. Prepare for the feast while the evening mists arrive. The action rhyme they did was obviously referring to the Feast of the Omi Purge. I can remember all the lyrics, but I felt like there was quite a lot of info there. Perhaps there were more hints for the feast in Yasumizu's culture and general area. I felt I had to talk to Rikako Umetsu. She was an adult who seemed more involved in Fujiyoshi's prayers and stuff than most. I need to arm myself with more info by tomorrow morning. That, along with the proper progression of the feast, were my only ways to survive. About today's feast. I must decide to hang the wolf guy because I just didn't care about him all that much, simple as that. Sure, it was important to get rid of the participants who weren't cooperative. However, the fact that we'd lost 6 people, but they still hadn't gone beyond he or she is kind of shady was pretty bad. Yesterday they wouldn't have hung anyone for such a petty reason. Well, the problem was that they hadn't hung anyone at all so far. But then again, it wouldn't be a good thing to give the impression it was okay to kill people just for seeming shady. This place was regressing back to a feudal, superstitious mental state. If there was something that could stop them from sinking there, it would be an outsider like me. I steeled my resolve and waited for the night to pass. Good evening. I was so startled by the voice on the other side of the door that I momentarily screamed. What time was it? 7? It was too early for an attack, too late to walk around. What's wrong with you? Aren't you going to get punished if you don't sleep? I think another hour is fine. I was awake until 8 yesterday and nothing happened. I've been sleeping too much, honestly. I'm not too tired, but I am really, really hungry. Don't you have your food stocks? With Kaori-san being, well, you know, I decided not to touch it. Might share it with the others, though. We're all hungry today, so I'll just tough it out. How upstanding. You should eat, though. What, the stuff from before? Now I'll pass. Why are you here anyway? Can't sleep. Is that really it? Haruaki-san, do you suspect me? No. Why? Because you told them about the monkeys, knowing full well what it meant. The Feast of the Oni Purge is a well-constructed communication game. Well-constructed? Yeah, it's called Werewolf. It exists before this game. I mean, there's no way to win this game beyond communication. Chikamochi-kun thought the same thing. To win, both the humans and wolves need to have some tricks and individual strategies. Consider the monkeys. They seem useless at first, but you can use them to easily eliminate 2 suspects. And this is possible from day 1, so they can become reliable leaders. Though, that'd be hard for Mochi and Mako. Yeah, he was a free spirit and she was a child. The wolves, on the other hand, have to go on the defensive. In a situation when being suspicious is enough to get yourself hanged, it's important not to draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done, though. Yeah, keeping your silence can be just as suspicious as being a blabbermouth. Exactly. There are 2 factors that make it easy to gauge trustworthiness right from the very start. Do they have something to do with monkeys? Yeah, you have to watch out for those who give bad advice or don't provide useful suggestions. A good example of the former is Kiyonosuke-san. His poor planning threw everything into disarray, and that makes him really suspicious. But he's confirmed to be human. Right, well, that's assuming Takumi-san wasn't lying about being the snake. Huh? You're saying he could be lying? It's not impossible after all. Anyone can say that they have the Guardian. Honestly, if I were a wolf, I'd lay low until I killed a few and then claim to have Guardian to ensure my safety. I see, but Takumi-chan came out on the first day. Yeah, that was basically suicidal. But since that allows the spider to protect him, it's like a telling blow that would hurt the attacker, I think. Anyway, all things considered, I'd say it's safe to trust Takumi-san and Kiyonosuke-shi. Personally, I think you're trustworthy too, since you spoke up about the monkeys. What if I only did that because I saw your game? Oh, that'd be bad. Wait, hold on. Aren't you basically saying you suspected me until I spoke up about the monkeys? Oh, you noticed. This goddamn guy, what the hell, man? I did it because I wanted to believe you. Alright, I forgive you then. Woohoo. So who's the most suspicious one? Haru-chan. Thought so. She's not making much sense lately, and you can explain her shift in personality by assuming she's killed her granddad. Or maybe she couldn't agree with the other wolf on their decision to kill Kanzo-shi and stop trusting anyone. Oh, that makes sense. You can make up 1,000 reasons like this, though. We couldn't go just by that. They'd said Haru hadn't gathered many votes, but they treated her as some kind of pariah, making it clear that everyone suspected her. It was only natural to use the snake to check on her. Though she didn't seem all that good at games and stuff, it probably wasn't fair to judge her purely on not making any useful contributions. In that regard, Yasukun is way more suspicious. Huh, but he did say a lot, like pointing out my math was incorrect. And he did say something like what you just said, not doing anything indirectly helps the wolves. Or something like that. Not to mention that on the first day, he suggested that the spider should hide. That's true. Though most of those things were minor, he was definitely contributing to the game. The first day was especially important. For the wolves, it was the best to create a flow where they could just stay quiet and wait for those with guardians to out themselves. What bothered me was the fact that he wasn't the one who brought up the leader selection and the monkey thing. He was shady because he hadn't made those useful propositions. I thought he'd figured those out a while ago, or maybe I, as an outsider, just had a better grasp on the situation. I guess he's innocent then. I don't know about the rest though. I can't even imagine what Rikako Uematsu-san and Tei-san are thinking. I know what you mean. But if you look to the circumstances outside the feast, Rikako Uematsu-san was pretty shady. It always felt like she was hinting at something. It wouldn't have surprised me if she was more than she let on. If she knew more than she let on, even. If she was a village head, she could know things only those from Kamafuji-yoshi knew. There was more than enough reason to suspect her. If only we could follow that lead and solve this whole thing, and make things way easier. Haruaki-san, are you enjoying this? No. But you look like the type who likes mystery stories. I won't deny that, but I can't really enjoy myself when people I care about and I are in danger. If I did act like some master detective, I'd really just be some useless amateur. It wouldn't accomplish anything. I'm not sure I buy that. What do you mean? Everyone else is a mess. I think most normal people would lose it in this kind of situation. I can say the same about you. I'm not exactly normal either. Oh yeah, I heard you almost killed someone. Who told you that? That's a secret, though it didn't sound intentional. Well, how do I say it? I think it happened in middle school. I grabbed a bat and beat up some student who was bullying Yasumizu kids. Whoa. Some of them were connected to head families, so it became a big deal, and that's basically why the adults here are so harsh on me. I see, so you find out a sense of justice. She was sent to Yasumizu for making enemies out of village heads. I won't say that. It's more I just had a short temper and wanted to make a scene. Rebellious phase? More or less, same as Haru-chan and Yoshi-kun. A place as rural as this, it's rare for children to grow up as level-headed as Yasu-kun, don't you think? Really? I think they'd be healthier and nicer than the edgy brats from the city. Let me rephrase that. In a place as poor as this. Well, there was no doubt that Yasumizu was destitute. There were no cars, cell phones, and it didn't even feel like it had an economy. I don't know why I said economy so weird. They probably lived mostly off the land, making money from whatever they could spare from their farms and hunts. Since they had no decent way to sell stuff to anyone outside, most of their business had been done through Kamafuji-yoshi. It was entirely likely they were ripping them off, No way this place could be wealthy under these circumstances. I didn't believe that money could buy everything, but poverty took its toll on the people suffering it. Some could live in poverty while retaining their purity, but that was borderline saintly. It was a lifestyle too difficult for the common masses. Also, since the people of Yasumizu were ostracized from Kamafuji-yoshi, they were targets of unjust pressure from day one. I could understand why the children here strayed from the path. Though, when you look at it like that, the way they strayed was so mild it was almost cute. Are you disturbed now? Not really. You're lying. You know I'm so blunt I'd whip out a blunt object to beat you up. I'm just going to ignore that poor attempt at a pun, sorry. My ex wasn't any different. Oh? Yeah, when I murder her, oh, I see. You seem confused, and I have no idea why. Is it because you seem to think I murdered my ex, as well as all my other exes? I'm definitely not mass murderer as a character. Haruwaki Fuseishi is definitely not mass murderer of character. 100% it is. It's got to be. It's got to be. You weren't lying when you said you broke up with your girlfriend? You thought I was? I thought it was just some kind of pickup line. That's just mean. Our breakup was insane. I actually felt like my life was in danger. Whoa, sorry to hear that. What about you? Huh? Your history with guys, our shared minds, so hearing yours is only fair, right? Yeah, well... How many did you go out with? 2, I guess. What happened to you being a hyper slut who's done it with 53 guys? I never said that. I did exaggerate a bit. But I did get tons of invitations. And yet you only went out with 2. Well, I didn't find many guys to go along with. What about me? Let's not go any further. If I let myself get too attached, I'll be too scared of dying. Being afraid of death is normal though, isn't it? Not really. Why? God is way scarier than death. I feel like you have a very unusual image of God. Really? You think of it as something frightening that you might actually meet, right? Fuck me, words are difficult again. I can't damn talk. Everyone's met God, maybe they just can't see it. And God really is scary. It's just like no one knows how. Myself included. You're the only one that I don't understand. It's probably why I'm afraid of losing you. That's something you say to those you promise your eternal love to. Are you mad? A bit. I see. We've gotten this far and you're still being cagey regarding your own background. You can only take playing hard to get so far until it gets annoying. I'm just not sure what to do. This isn't easy for me either. Just tell me everything. I'm going back. Shimmy, good night. What the hell? Why didn't she talk? Did she still not trust me? Was she messing with me? Was she just kind of crazy? Or was it something else? Crap, I wanted to chase her down and get a real answer out of her. I was too locked in. This was so frustrating. Though, this wasn't the time to worry about that. Who would the Wolves go for tonight? The Wolf guy was dead, meaning there was one less person who'd vote Chiemi out tomorrow. It wasn't likely she'd get top vote. It was best to think that the Wolves would go for someone who was useful to the humans and couldn't be killed with the votes. That meant that she and Yasunaga-kun were the ones at highest risk. On the other hand, their survival would make things difficult in other ways. I'd probably be forced to consider the possibility that they themselves were wolves. Could I really trust Chiemi? I felt I could, but not completely. Whatever the case, a situation where the more talkative ones were seen as suspicious would make it harder for her to survive. Should I have talked to her about running away? No, that was probably pointless. I didn't know much about her whole God thing, but it was clear that escape wasn't even an option for her. Something scary that everyone had met, yet not fully perceivable. Was she speaking figuratively, or could she literally see something? Shit, I don't care. I became irritated. My hunger was starting to get to me. Figuring it was better than just wasting my mental energy, I focused on taking a bath and going to bed. I had no idea just how naive my predictions would prove to be. Okay. Perfect place to end the episode. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like in the section below. If you want to see more of this, do subscribe to the channel as I try to upload every day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.